Morrowind is one of those games that no matter how old it gets, you can always find something you've never seen before. But after many years and hundreds of hours, a lot of the grander sense of wonder you had when you first stepped off the boat gets replaced by comfortable familiarity, and the world starts to feel just a bit smaller and less mysterious. But thanks to the glorious community of modders that have cropped up in the last 20+ years, we can regain that mystique. Modding has been a cornerstone of Morrowind since before the game even released, and no team has been more impactful or released quite as much content as the fine people with Tamriel Rebuilt. Many of you are probably familiar with the work they do, but just in case you haven't heard of Tamriel Rebuilt, we'll briefly explain their mission. Then I can show you how to easily get it set up and working. Finally, we'll look at the best places to start your adventure on Morrowind's mainland. This project was born when Bethesda announced that the Elder Scrolls III Morrowind would be much smaller in scope than its predecessors. The Elder Scrolls Arena included all of Tamriel, but in basic and samey hub towns dotted around the map. Then, the Elder Scrolls Daggerfall brought us a much reduced map, focusing only on the areas around the Iliac Bay, but in much finer detail, creating one of the largest continuous maps in video game history. In this same trend, Morrowind was originally intended to be the first game of the series that included only one province, but the entirety of said province. This can be seen in the original concept maps from Bethesda. But the scope was narrowed even further when the decision was made to not use procedural generation as had been done on the previous titles. Instead, Morrowind would be the first mainline Elder Scrolls game to have its world handcrafted with every rock and tree manually placed by developers. Along with this decision came a further reduction in scale, as instead of the entire province of Morrowind, the game would take place entirely within the central island of Ardenfell. This decision would lead to Tamriel Rebuilt being founded by Ender in 2001. Over the last 20+ years, the group has grown to include over 200 developers, modders, writers, artists, and more. While there's still much work to be done, Tamriel Rebuilt has already surpassed the base game in terms of size and content, with even more coming in the years ahead. But this video isn't meant to be a comprehensive history of the project. You're probably here because you want to experience the mainland for yourself. So let's move on to how we can add this expansion to your own game. I know a lot of people already know how mods work, but it's important to remember that this game is over 2 decades old and still gets new players every day. Modding your game can sound like a scary thing to try if you're new to it, and everyone was new at some point. It's actually a fairly painless process, and I'll do my best to make the instructions as straightforward as possible. All steps will be demonstrated on screen, and anything that needs to be downloaded will be linked in the description. I'll be going through the setup process on a fairly middle-of-the-road Windows 10 PC, so it may look a little different on other versions of Windows, but it should work the same way. I will also be doing this without using any mod manager programs. Everyone has their preferences on which one they use, if they use one at all. Everything we're doing today will be safe enough in the regular game directory. Some of these steps can't be done through mod managers, and some will be done a bit differently if you're using certain management programs like Vortex or Mod Organizer 2. I'm going to assume that everyone already has a legal copy of Morrowind installed on a device that was made in the last 15 years, so we can skip that part and move on to the juicy bits. Before we start installing our mods, we need to make sure that our game engine is ready. In order to run Tamriel Rebuilt, you need to have both expansion packs, Blood Moon and Tribunal, as well as the official patch, 1.6.1820. If you're playing the Game of the Year edition from GOG, Steam, Bethesda.net, or the Anthology DVD set, you already have all that you need. If you're playing on older versions, such as a previous disc-based set, you'll need to download the 1.6 patch from Bethesda Softworks website. If you're not sure what version you're running, load the game to the main menu, and you should see a version number in the lower left corner. If you're using the Morrowind code patch, you'll see its version number instead. But the code patch requires 1.6 already, so no need to download anything else. As a quick side note, the Xbox Game Pass version has been reported to not work for installation in the normal engine. If you're not running on the OpenMW engine, you'll need the Morrowind code patch, which can be found on the Nexus Mods website. This patch comes in the form of an executable file and needs to be manually downloaded. This will provide you with a compressed archive that will need to be extracted. Before we do that, we'll need to find our Morrowind installation. This can vary depending on your version of the game. For Steam users, open Steam and go to your library. Right-click on Morrowind and click Properties. Then click on Installed Files in the window that pops up. The top entry in this section should show where your game is installed, along with the handy Browse button that will take you right to it. GOG users will have a similar experience. Open GOG Galaxy and scroll down to the Games category on the left. Click on Installed and right-click on Morrowind. Go to Manage Installation and Folder to open the directory. If you have an actual disk-based installation, you should find the files in your Program Files x86 folder. Inside a Bethesda Softworks folder, there'll be a Morrowind folder. Once you've found the folder, we need to open the Morrowind code patch archive we downloaded earlier, then drag and drop the contents of the archive into your Morrowind directory. Once all of the files are moved into their new home, double-click on the file labeled morrowindcodepatch.exe. This will open the patcher program. It has many options you can try out to change how the game works, but for now, I would recommend leaving everything on its default settings and clicking Apply Chosen Patches. This patcher will always keep a backup of your original program just in case, so don't worry about breaking anything. Once we have the code patch installed, vanilla Morrowind users are greatly encouraged to download the Morrowind graphics extender, also available on Nexus Mods. This program fixes many of Morrowind's limitations and is a must for most Morrowind mods. Download the file and open the archive like we did before. From here, you can double-click on the MGE XE file. This will run a program which will install the graphics extender. Click through the regular program stuff until you get to the installation location. Change this to your Morrowind folder. It will need to be configured, but we can save that for later. That's all of the pre-install work for anyone on Morrowind's vanilla engine. Now let me take a moment to touch on OpenMorrowind for a second, as it offers quite a few improvements over the vanilla engine for those builds that are not reliant on a lot of scripting in their mods. If you're running the current version of OpenMW already, then you don't have to do anything special to get ready for Tamriel Rebuilt at this point. Congratulations! If you haven't tried OpenMW yet, it's worth considering. It will run on practically any device, with better performance and stability than the original Morrowind engine. If you want to try OpenMW, you can safely install it without affecting your vanilla Morrowind installation, so it's worth checking out. OpenMW is available from their website, openmw.org/downloads. Click Download from GitHub, no relation, and scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page. Windows users will need the file called OpenMW 0.48.0 Win64exe. Run the installer that it downloads and let it do its thing. Once it finishes, you can run the OpenMW wizard, which will locate your Morrowind directory and do some basic setup. OpenMW has a great guide on their website FAQ section if you need a step-by-step walkthrough. For now, we'll rejoin our vanilla engine friends and move on to the next step. Now that our game is ready, it's time to get our Tamriel Rebuilt files. We need to head to Tamriel-Rebuilt.org and go to the Downloads tab. At the very least, we need two things here. The first is the second entry on the list, Tamriel Data. This is an archive that has all of the assets and resources the mod needs to work correctly. Underneath the brief explainer text on the page will be a link to download from Nexus Mods or directly from the TR Google Drive. Both options will allow you to download either vanilla resolution files for a traditional simple mod list that don't include a lot of graphic overhauls, or a high-resolution version with the fanciest files for total overhaul enthusiasts. You only need one, so pick whichever you prefer. The files may take a while to download depending on your internet speeds and which version you picked. While it downloads, go ahead and open the Morrowind installation folder from earlier. In here, we'll find another folder called Data Files. Open this folder next. This is the home directory where mods will be installed. Once your Tamriel data file of choice finishes downloading, we need to open the archive and select all of the files inside. We need all of them to end up inside the data files folder we just opened. Then we need the first entry in the download tab, Main Release. Here you'll see the latest version of Tamriel Rebuilt. Click on Main Mirror or Morrowind Nexus to download the mod file. Once the download finishes, open the file and you'll find 3 folders inside. These need to be handled a bit differently than the Tamriel data file. Open the first folder labeled 00 Core and select the tr_mainland.esm file. This file goes in the data files folder. The next two folders in the download are optional. The first is 01 Faction Integration. Do the same thing with the trfactions.esp. This integrates the Mainland faction questline and progression with their counterparts on Vardenfell, as well as adding additional Horditor quests. The last folder, 03 Siege at Firemoth Compatibility Patch, is only necessary if you have the official Bethesda plugin for the quest Siege at Firemoth Fort. If you do, then copy its tr_firemoth_vanilla_patch.esp to the data files folder as well. There are also optional music files and an original soundtrack for Tamriel Rebuilt. These make the experience all the more rich and immersive, and the tracks fit seamlessly with the entire province. If you'd like to try them out, the files are available on the main release page, where we downloaded the last file. There is a way to get a full custom audio setup with these files, but it requires a separate mod and can get a little technical, so I'll have to save that for now. Maybe there'll be another video for audio overhauls in the future. Instead, click the link for the old music pack add-on. This will bring you to a tr_music archive that can be downloaded and added to the music folder inside of Morrowind's data files folder, and will integrate the soundtrack into the game manually. Now that we have all the files we need to finish the build, let's get everything configured. First, open your Morrowind launcher and click on Data Files. This will open a menu with all of the mod files listed. Make sure they're in the order listed on screen now. Enable all of these, as well as the faction integration and Firemoth patch if you're using the Firemoth plugin. There will also be a file called XE Sky Variation. This can be enabled for variations in your skybox if you're using MGE XE. If your files are out of order, I recommend downloading mlocks from the Morrowind Nexus and extracting it to your Morrowind folder as well. This is a program that will sort your load order automatically. Run the program mlocks.exe from its folder, and it will open a window with some notes on our current installation, as well as current and recommended load orders. For now, just hit Update Load Order and wait for it to finish. Once it does, you can hit the Quit button to exit. Original Morrowind users will then need to open the MGE XE program in their Morrowind folder and configure all of the settings they normally would for a game. Morrowind on its own is generally a game where you can max out all of the settings and not notice any performance hits, but we're going to be more than doubling the number of objects and assets that need to be rendered in. So I recommend starting with medium to high settings depending on how powerful your PC is, and you can increase your settings once we test everything out if you like. You may still experience some reduction to your FPS in dense cities. This is to be expected, as even with the graphics extender, the 20-plus-year-old engine is only capable of so much. Click on the second tab at the top for Distant Land, and when you're happy with your settings, run the Distant Land generator. You can allow it to use the recommended settings and wait for it to finish. Again, it might take a while. OpenMW users will need to open the OpenMW launcher and do a similar process, but with nav meshing. First, we need to go to the Data Files tab and into the Content Files tab below that. Select everything in here and then go to the tab labeled Archive Files and select all of them as well. Before we generate our nav mesh, go ahead and set the graphics up accordingly. Once you finish that, return to the Data Files tab and go to Navigation Mesh Cache and click Update. Once this process is complete, you should be able to run the game. Original Morrowind users will continue to use their regular shortcutter launcher, and OpenMW users can launch OpenMW directly from its shortcutter launcher. There are other large landmass mods related to Tamriel Rebuilt as well. Project Tamriel is a sister project that is developing Skyrim, Home of the Nords, and Province Cyrodiil, both of which are similar in scope and detail and are well worth checking out. But we have more to explore than we can ever imagine already, so let's get into the game. Once you're ready to go, you can travel to any number of hubs to get to the mainland. With so many options and no clear path, it can be hard to decide where to go. But the best places for new characters to go are Firewatch on the northeastern peninsula of Morrowind, or Old Ebonheart, seat of Imperial power in Morrowind, south of Vivec at the mouth of the Tyr River. The latter of these two cities can be reached by traveling to Vivec via Siltstrider. Then from Vivec's boat dock, speak to the unusual-looking Dunmer over here. She'll take you directly to Old Ebonheart's docks. Old Ebonheart is the largest city in all of Morrowind, and any adventurer will be spoiled for choice here. In addition to the traditional options like the mages, fighters, and thieves guilds, you can find the Imperial Cult, East Empire Company, and Legion quests. Though for the Legion, you will still have to sign up at Fort Darius on Vardenfell. There are also dozens of side quests and miscellaneous quests to experience. Speak to everyone, visit the shops. The city is truly expansive, as is the Ebon Tower, where all of Morrowind's most important Outlanders hang out. To get to Firewatch, we'll need to head from Vivek's boat dock to Tel Bernora. Once we get there, take another boat up to Sadrith Mora. From the docks here, we can find this unusual Bosmer, and he'll take you straight to Firewatch.
From where do you hail?
Firewatch is a good bit smaller than Old Ebonheart, but it offers a surprising amount of content suited for lower-level characters. It also serves as a gateway to the Telvanni lands, which are a wondrous area all their own, with more grand mushroom buildings than you can shake a scrib at. So get out there and explore. There are cool things hidden all over the place to discover. Following quests in either location will familiarize you with the local area and lead you beautifully into the next town. Many more Tamriel Rebuilt guides are in our future, but for now, I'm gonna let you enjoy this mod for yourselves. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe for more. We also stream on Twitch with VODs uploaded to our second channel, and we have a Discord if you want to hang out and talk about Morrowind. Until next time, thanks for watching. I've been Gitshiver, and I'll see you in the next one. Later!